Vortex here, back with another review, and this is my review of the Edifier TWS1 Pro. As you can see, mine are kind of like the grey ones. These are quite unique as they actually have aptX adaptive, which is kind of cool, and that my phone actually does support that. And as usual, full disclaimer is these are actually sent out to me by Edifier themselves. I was not paid to do this video, and obviously no thoughts and opinions in this video are my own. And yeah, let's get into it. So like I stated in the intro, mine are the grey ones, as you can see. TWS1 Pro, it says true wireless stereo earbuds, which they are. Roll swapping, so they can actually swap on the fly. If you want to use one or use both or swap them, they can do that. 12 hours of playtime and 30 hours. I got just over 11, but it depends on the volume. So the battery life on these is very good per unit. Support Bluetooth 5.2, quick charge, comfortable fit, which is, I'd say it's true. That's what I look like. So Qualcomm True Wireless Mirroring Technology supports dynamic and seamless bud-to-bud roll swapping. They can do that. aptX Adaptive provides both lossless and low latency transmission of audio. I had no issues at all with latency. Obviously, I'll talk about that later on. It's got CVC 8.0 noise cancellation. I've actually got a microphone test later on in the video. The driver is a PU plus titanium diaphragm. Up to 12 hours, like I said before. Well, you should easily get 11. 42 hours playtime with a 40-minute quick charge, and profiles are HFP, A2DP and AV-RCP. They go from 20 Hz to 20 kHz, same pressure level as 93 dB, and 5 volt 1.5 amp for charging, so you can just use your own kind of plug. And yeah, let's open these up. So that's what it's like when you open them up. Edifier themselves. Take that off. Obviously they sit in there, but I'll show you those in a bit. Take that out. Charge cable, obviously Type-C to USB-A. Tips, large and small. Comes in mediums pre-applied. Obviously bag to help to reduce moisture. Some paperwork, so support information there. Some basic kind of knowledge. That's French. The first one is English. It's there. Probably like safety info and FCC information. So here's the buds themselves. Obviously it's a small case. There's the information on the bottom. Type-C, and when you charge it, the LED comes on when you charge it. So open these up, left and right, R and L. That's the LED. So when you put it back in the case, you'll see that light flash red to charge. Same one for there. And that's what they look like. So it's a touch button. See, it's trying to pair. If it's a focus. And that's it. Very small, very kind of light, kind of a greyish. It's hard to describe the colour. But yeah, that's about all. Obviously later on in the video. Next I'm going to show you the microphone test, and after that actually I'll just get straight onto the review. But that's just what they look like. So yeah. So microphone test next, and then the review straight after. This is a microphone test of the Edifier TWS1 Pro. This is just me using them in stereo mode, as you can actually use them individually. This is connected to my computer. I am on about 60% volume of the microphone in the settings, and that's it. So as you just heard, you had the microphone test, and I think that sounds, to be honest, pretty good. Quick rundown of the actual specs, which is Bluetooth 5.2. They do aptX and AAC. They use aptX adaptive and that's how I did my testing with my phone, and it worked perfect. Let's get on to like the signal strength. So up to 10 meters, you may get drops if you go over that. It all depends on your situation, obviously your phone and all your surroundings as well. But again, I didn't really have any problems. It worked perfectly fine. The controls, let's just take these out. So the controls is only obviously the one button on the side, as you can see. Kind of the right level between being like too responsive and not responsive enough. But basically the controls are, when you're using them both, is you can tap either one to play or pause. You press the right one twice to skip the next track, press the left one twice to previous track. Hold the right one for volume up, hold the left one down for volume down. Yeah, so very straightforward. There's no assistance on these as well, so you can't like use any voice assistance. You have to do it through your phone. Latency with YouTube and like Twitch on my phone, it's perfect. If you do gaming with these, there's a slight delay, which is something you can't really solve, really, which is a bit of a shame. Battery life, no, very good. It's around, you get around 11 hours, and then the case can charge them up 2.5 times. I think a 15-minute charge, which is like a fast charge, you'll get a couple of hours from 15 minutes, which is pretty good, really. Is these connectors. Sometimes if you don't get it on correct, so now that's good. You want to look for that when you put them back in. Sometimes you can put them back on and it doesn't fully register it, so you have to be aware of that. Obviously that's trying to pair. They can be used They can be used individually, and you can swap between them on the fly, which again is very good. Like I said, they use aptX adaptive, which is kind of like a mix between aptX HD and low latency together. And again, it works remarkably well. And that's the same I've got on my Bang & Olufsen BL Play H10s, which are £450. And this is nowhere near that. This is much, much cheaper, but it's got the same chipset and it does the same job, which is kind of cool, really. These actually support IP65, which is quite good. Obviously, the Bluetooth 5.2, so they use a very up-to-date chipset, which is actually pretty good. Microphone, like you heard, actually sounds on these. Actually sounds pretty good. I couldn't really. It sounds okay. Sometimes on the other end, the person, they may not ultimately sound the clearest, like from your voice, but on the whole, I do perform quite well. I do think ones when they have a larger stem typically seem to do a better job for calls, because I think it's because it's closer to your just closer to your mouth, really. Obviously, with that being only that kind of size compared to something that's being like that size, I think it just helps being they are pointed towards your mouth. So, and yeah, so actually, ultimately, I think it's just sound. So I think I've covered everything else: battery life, usability, Bluetooth, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So sound of these are quite detailed, to be honest. They have a brighter sound signature with a little bit of warmth, so they're not completely neutral. Quite a nice sound signature. Most like true wireless stuff can be quite bassy. Now the MB2 Pros, which I've reviewed, same company, obviously a few videos before this, I think they are more bassy than this, but they are more expensive, but they do more. It's a different kind of. They have active noise cancellation and ambient modes. These don't, but these are cheaper. Those I found was more bassy than these, but they got it quite right. It's a very good overall kind of balance. It's not bass light, not bass heavy. It's got a nice bit of sub bass. Vocals are all very clear. Probably the female ones are more forward. It's hard to describe, but on the whole, they're very detailed. Kind of true wireless. They're not overly bright like those tin Evos, the tin T2 Evos. They're not like that, but they do have a brighter sound signature, with a little bit of a oomph in the low end, a little bit of elevation, only small amount, but they do actually sound like pretty good. It's a very nice balance. It's a very nice piece of tuning. Also, you don't need an app to use them. Like the MB2 Pro, there's an app that you can control different settings and things like that. They don't have it. So yeah, obviously Type-C there. Very kind of small portable shell. Obviously left and right there. That's one thing I don't really like is with the case. Sometimes it doesn't register them. So always look for the LEDs, the little light in there. Same for there, for when you put them back in. So you know it's triggering the actual charging circuit to work. But yeah, 11 hours I can't really fault that. Obviously that's probably partly to blame for the newer chipsets, which are quite power efficient, which is great compared to like only 2 or 3 years ago. You couldn't even get half that battery power, and now you're getting up to 11, which is quite good really. But yeah, the sound, I was quite happy with it, and very detailed, but not overly bright. It has enough brightness to it. They're not dark. There's enough low frequencies to it. I think whoever's done this has done quite a nice piece of tuning. So yeah, I do kind of recommend these. Obviously they're not perfect, they do have their little flaws, but on the whole they do work. They do work quite well. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of if I've actually missed anything. Isolation, before I go, they do isolate very well. Continue to single dynamic driver, they do isolate quite well. And yeah, anything in particular, in case I've missed anything, please do let me know in the comments, and obviously I can answer your questions. But on the whole, they do perform quite well. Obviously compared to the MB2 Pros, which again from the same company but more expensive, they do more. They do have a different chipset in them. They are only Bluetooth 5 and AAC. This does aptX and Bluetooth 5.2. But they can do obviously active noise cancellation and ambient mode. They can do more, but they do cost more. But these have a better battery life, so you have to bear that in mind. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you do like what I do, please give me a like and subscribe if you can. Sounds cheesy, but obviously every little helps. And thanks for watching, and take care.